Well, guys, the first stream screwed up as usual. And we're back. One of these days I got to quit getting new equipment and or getting used to using it before I use it to go live. But actually, this microphone is taking a dive. It's the connection, expensive microphone too. And it took a crap. So anyhow, there were a bunch of people storming in here. I saw the chat going crazy and then bam. So we're going to wait a minute, Joe. I'm sorry. God, it sucks. People must be like, I'm not listening anymore. Every time he comes on, his equipment takes a dive. Just pisses me off. Anyhow, we'll give it a couple minutes here. Sorry, guys. So Joe's in the house. He says, glad you're back. Hope Susan Wiki got those flowers. Yeah, right. Isn't it amazing how things carry over from 2AE to U? It's good to see that stuff carries over. And thank you guys for coming back after my little technical screw up. I needed some music in the background, while we were gone. We'll be back in 30 seconds. But sorry, I've got to quit beta testing my new equipment on you guys. I got to try it out. The problem is you cannot do a live stream without, or you can't do it in private like you can a video. At least there's no way I know of. So I don't know. Let me know if the volume's too loud now, because I got pissed and I was just cranking dials and stuff. That's how I fix things, when I get pissed. Anyhow, like the title says, after we go through our usual rigmarole here, I've done videos on it and it evokes the most emotion out of all of my viewers. And that is, I'm going to adjust the camera here. I'm afraid to touch anything, but it evokes the most emotion out of all of my viewers and all of my videos. And that's, what's the best AK on the market today? It's, people generally agree. And let's face it, there's not a ton of choices out there. But, if they're loyal to something, or especially if they're new to the game, it seems, maybe they scrimped and saved to get that first rifle and they're proud of it. And boy, they're going to let you know it. So, and some of them are right. I mean, there's really no wrong answers today when it comes to AKs, except for a few. And they're the same old. And I'm going to go through how we got to this point in the AK market, because it's different than any other market, right? I don't know, pick a rifle, pick a shotgun, pick a pistol, anything. You go to the store and you see I'm going to use, let's say, Ruger, for example. You see a nice Ruger semi-automatic pistol, and maybe you look at a couple reviews or something. You like the way it looks, you like the way it feels, and it's what you want. It'll work for concealed carry or whatever. You buy it, you go home, you shoot it, you're happy, right? ARs, even, let's say. You go to the shop, you see, I don't know, a Springfield Saint, you see a Smith & Wesson M&P, Daniel Defense, a few others. You pick the one that you like with the features you like, and you take it home and you shoot it, right? And yeah, sure, maybe down the road you upgrade, you this, you that, but it's not that big a deal. So what the hell happens when somebody goes to buy an AK? It's completely different. They're befuddled. They go to the store and they see, what are you going to see today? Maybe at a good shop, you'll see a couple Arsenals. You'll see a Z-Pap. You'll see a Wasser, a few other things. or you'll go online and you'll see a WBP or WPA Fox, um, whatever, right? But it's not good enough just to buy one. No, we have to go and do all this research, and not just research. We need to have 5,000 round tests. We need to throw them in lakes. We need to drag them behind trucks. We need to drop them on cement and hang from trees with them and all this other stuff, right? Why the AK? Why is that the only rifle we do that to? You don't do that. Nobody does that to ARs. We don't drag them behind trucks. Pistols, we don't throw them in ponds and all this other crap. And we certainly don't run anywhere close to a 5,000 round test. And I'm not talking just about Rob Ski. And this is by no means a bash on Rob Ski. Why? Because I have a lot of respect for Rob Ski. Rob Ski is the entire reason I'm doing this channel. I watched his videos. I came across him one day, and within a week, I had watched everything he had made. And I watched him do all the things, and I'm like, wow, man, this guy's really getting into this, you know? And some failed, some passed, and all that. But I kind of knew already what was good, what was bad. I had owned them all. But why did we decide that the AK was the platform we had to do this with? And it's really a simple answer. And that answer is there was so much junk out there, absolute junk. Um, and part of it was Century's fault with some of the stuff they put out. And, they were the cheap guns and people were building them in their garages. There were even, for those of you guys new to this, there were what's called a screw build back in the day, where instead of rivets, because guys didn't know how to rivet and or didn't have the fixtures to do it, etc., they would put them together with screws, right? God, we can't Loctite a friggin' optic mount on, let alone build an AK out of screws, right? And if you've ever seen one hanging on the wall in a shop or something, I don't know that I've ever seen one for sale. Maybe once at a shop. I don't know that any self-respecting shop would, for liability reasons, sell one, but that's the reason. There was so much out there that maybe somebody put together in his garage and it wasn't done right. You had Century chopping up mag wells and doing all kinds of craziness, and even wassers. You'd get wassers in, and half the time they didn't work, or every rifle suffered its problems. Even the Yugos, when Century was bringing them in, the magwells were opened, all that good stuff, and there wasn't that much experience with them. Every magwell you got, the mag would flop an inch side to side or back, and God forbid, back and forth, wouldn't strip around. There were early PAPs that came in that had single stack bolts in them, and when they cut them open and ran them with double stack mags, some of them wouldn't strip. So you had all this doubt out there, right? And then Century came out with what was it? The CV, CV 47. And they had a milled version and a stamped version, and they were going out of headspace, and guns were blowing up and all kinds of crap. So Rob Ski gets the idea that he's going to start running tests on these things, and 5,000 rounds seems like a good round number. And he's going to run a test and see what works and what doesn't. And frankly, he provided a fabulous service, right? Because how many guys can grab 5 cases of ammo? Not forget about now, even back then when it was, let's say, $190 a case, right? 200, let's say, with shipping. That's still $1,000. And I don't know that Rob back then, and even now, maybe now, but I don't know if he was even getting ammo back then. It was on him when he had his buddy Paul on there. And if you look way back, there were earlier guys. that came and went, and he provided a valuable service. And frankly, it's, in my opinion, it's why the AK market is where it's at today. And it's why we enjoy being able to basically pick one off the shelf and it'll be good, regardless of what it is, with their exception. Because these manufacturers had to step up their game. They had to step it up. There was no choice, because God forbid Chomsky ordered one of your rifles and tested it and it failed, right? If it failed that test, for the most part, anybody seriously interested in your rifle, it wasn't going to sell. It just wasn't. And especially now with how big he is. Now, we haven't seen a 5,000 round test out of them for some time, partially because of ammo, partially because there's not many new, really new offerings out there. He's tested it all for the most part, and the ammo thing, I'm sure. But I was thinking about that, and back when I started doing this, it was very easy to walk in. I'll give you, for instance, when I walked in to this little local gun shop, and it's still there, thank God. But I walked in and it was the coolest place, because anytime you walked in there, we call it the hole in the wall, because it feels like a dugout or something. When you walk in there, it's all dark paneling, a lot of old guns on the wall, and just old stuff. It's been there a while. It's not a new, pretty, well lit shop. It's a mom and pop, like it's done in someone's basement. It's added onto a house, and that kind of thing. And there's just old stuff there, old product even. But when you walked in, he'd have the cardboard boxes open and all the AKs laid out. And I remember walking in there, and any time you went in, you could walk in one Saturday and he'd have AS-10Bs, he'd have Wassers with dongs, he'd have Yugos, Century, M70 AB2s, and the next week you'd walk in and he'd have some other surplus rifles. There'd be Grands and there'd be M1 carbines, and you never knew what you were going to find. It changed week to week, but he always had AKs. And I walked in the first time and I'm looking and I'm like, and I've told this before, but I pick a Wasser up and I'm like, oh, this must be a used gun. Like, yeah, look, it's all scratched. The barrel's all scratched. The receiver's got scratches. Look at this wood. Looks like it's been dried out on a beach for 4 years. And everything smells and it's covered in grease. And back then you used to get mags and slings and pouches and oil cans and toolkits and all bayonets. It came with it all, right? And it was just so cool to go through the box. And then you go, oh, look at this, an underfolder. I didn't know I even called it an underfolder then, but I'm like, look at this stock. It's an M70 AB2. And then there were maybe there was a Hungarian AK, bunch of stuff, and then some other Century products. And you didn't know what to pick. You kind of went, okay, that to me looks the coolest. I'll take it. And thank God it was my M70 AB2. And even that rifle back then was kind of looked down upon. Today, it holds a little status. They were very, very, here, if you're talking Century rifles, whether it's something they build now, completely built in America, or something they imported, Wassers, they were the importer for Zastava, or whatever, or these AB2s that they subcontracted and have built, it is one of the best rifles on the market. They're extremely well built. They shoot extremely well. They're nicely finished for what they are. Essentially a kit gun, but a good kit gun. And today they're kind of held in high esteem, and they re-released a bunch. They must have had some kits and rebuilt some and put them out again. And even those rifles ended up being very good. I told you guys last week, I think it was, that at one point I decided I was just going to collect those. I wanted 5 of them for my family, and I set out to buy that many of them. And I've held on to a few of them, and I can't believe that that $300 rifle is probably now about $1,000, and probably in today's market worth every penny of that. However, it was a crapshoot because the next week or month or whatever it was, I walked in and I bought a wasser because I wanted the classic wood look. And back then, they zipped the dongs off. Nobody would buy a dong. No, the dong. You couldn't sell an AK with a dong to save your life. Ugly shit. Who wants it? And you guys are probably crying in your coffee because uh, thousands and thousands and thousands of dogs met their death at the hands of a table saw, right? However, and again, sheer luck because I didn't know shit, I picked one that had an original bulged Romanian handguard. And came with all the stuff. And frankly, I still have it and it shoots well, but the entire gun is twisted, just twisted. There's a twist to it. You can see the stock goes this way and the rest of it goes that way. And it's funny that Mac at Military Arms Channel, he has one the same way. He says, he goes, if you look at this gun, there is no way you think this gun will run, and it does. His is the same as mine. And they were some military parts, some new parts, and whatever, they put them together. And that rifle could have been junk. Really, nobody would probably want it because they never think it runs, but it does. It was a crapshoot. And thanks to Rob C, we don't have that crapshoot anymore. So it brings us today. That was a long-winded intro to bring us to today with what's on the market today and go through the good, the bad, and the ugly about them. Because as good as everything out there is, like I said, with rare exception, there's not a bad choice to be made out there. You could walk in a gun shop that had every brand, current import and USA made AK on the wall. Close your eyes, blindfold you, spin you around a few times, and pick a rifle, and you do okay. You do really well, actually, with the exception of, I'll say, the Visca, the Pioneer, and what else? Got to think of something else. There's one other one out there. Pretty much anything Century other than the stuff they're building. It's just don't bother, guys. I don't even think of them, the Visca and all that stuff. Just don't do it. Rob also put out a video the other day saying that he was taking some heat from some guys when he talked about what the best AK on the market was today, that he didn't include US made guns and that he was hating on them for some reason for always recommending buy an import first. And I agree, I wholeheartedly agree that if you are just getting in the market, or even if you're in the market and you got a couple, but you want to make a collection, buy the imports first. Maybe the USA guns will prove to be just as good, and they probably will. Like the Kalashnikov USA, that's a fine AK, and I'm sure it will last right up there with the best of them. However, an import is an import. A rifle built at an armory is built at an armory that's been doing business and making guns for the militaries for long time, decades probably, and longer in some cases. And with the swipe of a pen, they can be taken away, just like the ammo ban. And there's several comments on my videos where guys said, oh my God, listen to this guy. He called it. He predicted this. He this, he that. I never wanted to be right, guys. Trust me, I never wanted to be right. It probably affects me more than just about any of you out there because of the amount of shooting I do at Steelcase. But it can just be taken away at any moment. So why not get those? Because yeah, there'll be some on the secondary market, but it's only new once to you. It's only new in the box once, if that's how you want to keep it. And why not? Because that's where the history is, right? You'll always be able to get that AK built here in America. They can't stop the import. Yeah, it can do other things, but it would take a lot to stop it. So get those while you can. Please listen to me on that one and do that. So let's talk about what's out there today. The market has in some ways narrowed and in some ways increased. We've still got a lot of the good old standbys out there, but there's not a hell of a lot. You've got Serbian guns, Yugoslavian guns, Zastava, and Zastava's doing a wonderful job. You've got ZPAPs, essentially M70s, right? You've got their 223 rifles. You've got their designated marksman rifle. You've got a crink. You've got all kinds of choices. You can get it in wood and polymer and whatever you want. And they're great rifles. You've got Arsenal with a wide array of guns. And yes, they come and go. Every time they say one's going away, it shows up a while later, or at least a batch does. But you have your choice between stamped and milled and pistols and rifles and in-betweeners and all this stuff, right? RPKs, even if they built some custom ones and they had Vepers, they still have a few of the Vepers laying around. That's the other thing. You had Vepers out there. You may be able to still find a couple new in the box, but you're going to pay way up for them. So they're really not on the market anymore, or at least the primary market. You still have Cougar with Wassers, right? Those are still out there. Although I haven't seen a wood version in a while. Not that it matters, because the wood you'd take off immediately. I've been seeing them with black polymer. And you've got, you still have their version of a designated marksman rifle. And you have the Dracos and the mini Dracos and a wide selection from them. What else is out there? You've got Polish rifles. You've got WBP with the Fox. Great rifle, beautiful rifle. And you've got is that it for imports, I think, right now, perhaps? I'm missing something. Bulgarian, Yugos. I call it Yugos, guys, not Serbian. Just go with me on this. I've been doing it too long. They're Yugos. That's how I refer to them. Bulgarian, Yugos, Romanians, Polish. What else is out there? We lost, unfortunately, the last of the Russian guns, the Vepers. And before that, we lost the Segas, right? Which were the real deal. We lost Chinese guns. There's a lot of things we've lost. But as far as armories that are building them, that's what's out there. What else is there? There's kit guns. There's people like Atlantic Firearms that are building essentially kit guns. They have a relationship with Arms of America, and they get kits and they build everything from battlefield pickup looks to whatever you want, different kinds of wood and polymer and stocks. And they do Bulgarian 74s, and they do, I've seen Tantals and RPKs, and they do a lot of stuff with the Fox and all kinds of stuff. There was a Tula kit somebody's been offering lately. There's a lot of good stuff out there. And then you have boutique builders, and there's some that by boutique, I don't mean it in the true sense. There's a few of those out there. Then the true boutiques, the Krebs and the Definitive Arms and all of that stuff. So there's just a ton of good choices. And like I said, none of them bad, other than maybe the Pioneer, the Vishka, and pretty much anything else Century makes themselves. I'm sorry, guys, if you own one, please don't take that as a shot. Just take it as there's much better choices out there. We're going to go into the good and bad of each one of these, but I'm going to check in on the chat here and see who's here and say hi to a bunch of you guys. Of course, Joe's here. I did beat him into the chat earlier before I had to redo this a little while ago, just for the fun of it. They'll filter back in. Yeah, it looks like they did. So Alan Bishop's in here. Thanks for stopping in. Hattori Hanzo's here. Notice just went out for the new stream. Cool. Here we go. Hey guys, Texas Bullets here. Sound is good. Awesome. Joe, I helped a friend this week. He was on the fence. Then I found him a Z-Pap on sale. Great. Can't go wrong with a Z-Pap. Really hard to go wrong. I'm really enjoying mine lately too. And I apologize. I said you were going to have some videos this week, and I wasn't feeling good earlier in the week and did not get out and did not get on the computer to do some editing. But as long as the weather holds out here, we will be good for range and shoot day tomorrow. I was on the roof Sunday, blowing off all the pine needles up here when the leaves are falling and the pine needles are coming down. When I blew them off the roof, I was knee deep on my decks when I climbed off the roof. It's something to see. And when I finished, we had snow flurries already. Lake's not frozen yet, but snow flurries already. I was never that way with my guns, Rock. I take care of them because they take care of me and my family. My stuff oiled, cleaned. I was talking about Rob Ski throwing them in the lake and doing the testing, that kind of thing. I had an NPAP that had issues. Alan, tell us what kind of issues you had in here. I'd like to hear, because if you guys know or have heard me talk, I have an NPAP that I bought specifically for just shooting the living piss out of it. My always with me, always at the range, throw it in the trunk, set up the way I like it, always runs. It's got more rounds to it than anything else I own, and it's held up fabulously. So I'd like to know what happened. I'm not going to trash any content creator. I'm just going to say Robski isn't my favorite AK guy. Not saying he's anybody's favorite. What I will say is he has done a ton for the AK community. He truly has. Like him, hate him, whatever. I guess I guess it is a popularity contest out here, right? When it comes to YouTube, but there's somebody for everybody, So that's the great thing. You can find a ton of good content. But I will say, more than anyone else, as far as clearing the muddy waters on AKs, he has made it possible for the manufacturers, including the big factories, to get better at what they build, to fix issues, to see issues go away, and frankly, get better guns to the market that you and I spend our hard-earned money on and shoot. So I got to give him props for that. Got to. He just has this kind of elite attitude about things, and he trashes a gun to test it. I don't like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the trashing. That's, how many guns get trashed in R&D and everything. That's not a big deal. And at the end of the day, most of those guns aren't trashed. A gun sitting in water, the water doesn't hurt it. It's when it comes out of the water what happens to it. If you leave it dragging it behind a truck, whatever, maybe scratches it and this and that, maybe it dents it. But at the end of the day, it's a sacrifice. And it's probably, in reality, a lot of guns see that in combat, trust me, in one day, so it's not that big a deal. And it's a well worth, it's an endeavor well worth it. So I can't knock him there. When you say he comes across as kind of an elitist, I don't think so. Far from it. Look at his guns. He'll put a tennis wrap around the grip to make it bigger rather than change the grip out. He doesn't care what the gun looks like. Could care less what it looks like, how it performs. I think the elitist thing, I think a lot of people hear his Polish accent and somehow that translates to them as that a little bit. But I don't take it that way. But I can see how you do. You do. I've heard that before, and I think that's what it is. Let's see. Would have loved to get one if the Polish kits that just came in. There are Polish kits right now at Arms of America. Lots of them. Let's see. Ellen Bishop. Well, the abuse part is a useful service. I agree. A gun is nothing but a tool. Correct. To some, it's collectible, right? Some guys just want to buy them, put them on the wall, polish them, put them in a safe, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm cool with it. It's your gun. Do what you want with it. Some guys don't care or go out and shoot the hell out of it. Literally throw it in the trunk. No case, no nothing. Drive home, bang it around. They don't care what it looks like as long as it shoots. And the AK is one of the few guns that will hold up to that, right? The problem now is that something like a stamped arsenal costs the same as a little Ace Gen 2. You're correct. It does. Or what a Gen 2 used to cost, right? Grinding bayonet lugs off and putting crap polymer stocks on them. The new Wassers are in a blah. I haven't seen them grinding the bayo lugs off it. As a matter of fact, the ones I've seen have them. Careful, I said last week. There's some Romanian versions out there that look like a Wasser and look like they came from Cougar, and they haven't. It's another company doing them. And I got a feeling that's what you're seeing. Where's that Mosin surplus video? That's an easy one to make. But you guys want to see some shooting too, right? So I got to get a Mosin out to the range. I have to. Excuse me. My cold is still kicking my ass. Let's see. A couple more comments, and then we'll get back to the best AK conversation here. Awesome L and SKSs are fun too. They are a blast. I will get you a Mosin video. 2015-16 had an NPAP, Alan Bishop. Buttstock cracked. The hammer mushroomed. The tail of the bolt carrier after about 1,500 rounds. The hammer spring also failed. Replaced the trigger with an ALG, then sold it. So let's talk about that. So, and the NPAPs back in the day, they were putting what trigger in it? I can tell you right now what it was. It was a Tapco. And say what you want about the G2. Some guys love them. In my opinion, they were absolute crap. Every one of them was too hard. They hardened them too much. So everyone, including Rob Ski, talked about the mushrooming of the tail. And in every video, every test, after every 1,000 rounds, they pull out the looks like it's mushroomed a bit, but it's holding. It hasn't gotten any worse. Every bit of that was caused by Tapco triggers. Every one of the bad ones, the really bad ones, were because of Tapcos. They hardened them too much. And what happens when you have a bolt carrier made out of metal hardened to this Rockwell being hit by a hammer made of harder metal? The harder metal is going to win out. And at the end of the day, the hammer spring on a AK got some power behind it, right? Now, my experience, because I'm trying to think if I have a Tapco left in anything. Probably in my M70 AB2. I got an ALG in my NPAP. No, I don't think I have a Tapco trigger left in anything. If I do, and when I did, the hammers were completely reprofiled. I don't know who in the hell ever came up with that contour design. I know what they were trying to do, but they miserably failed. You look at a factory hammer, like in a Wasser, for instance. Romanian hammers are flat as could be. There's one hump, it goes flat, and one hump down. And if you have your top cover off on just about any AK here in the U.S., regardless if it's a rack, one century trigger, K-bar trigger, um, uh, whatever it is, any USA made. You look at the side from the top of the receiver and you see that hammer sticking up, right? Like this. Why? Real trigger fire control groups are not that high. You can literally take half the profile off most of them and the gun will run just fine. Now there's a point you can take too much off and it's not going to reset, right? But that being said, they're way out of whack. That's why there's so many people complain that when they take the cocking lever and pull it back, and if they let it forward slowly, it stops, right? When it hits the hammer, they'll hang there. They'll hang there and stay there all day till maybe you whap the gun and it closes, right? Goes in the battery. Why is that? That's because all of these American-made triggers are profiled way too high. One day I'll show you some of the ones I've profiled. I'll show you some original Romanian, Bulgarian, whatever, Russian triggers and show you the difference in the profiles. That's why some of these guns don't feel as smooth as some of them because of that. It's crazy. And they were too hard and they mushroomed the hell out of everything. Now, I never had one mushroom to the point of failure, but I've changed everything out too years ago. Not because of that, just because I messed with a lot of triggers, learned how to do them myself, and kind of develop my own profile for each one. And when I get a gun, I do my trigger jobs and they're done. And they're much better than anything out there. Anyhow, so it really wasn't the NPAPs. Well, I guess it's the manufacturer. They picked the Tapco trigger, but in their defense at that point, that's about all that was out there at the moment. And to have a spring fail, I don't know if those were American-made springs or not. I've never had a hammer spring fail. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Very well could have. But again, not a big deal. Put another one on. I thought you were talking about a major, trunnion issue, headspace issue, something like that. A receiver issue. The bolt carrier, let's see, 1,500 rounds, the hammer spring also failed. Replace the trigger with an ALG. Had you kept the gun was fine with that ALG in it. It was fine. Did you have to grind down the hook on that ALG to get that gun to run? I did on my NPAP. It's the only ALG I had to modify that much. But it's a fabulous trigger. And a fabulous gun. It's a great gun. It's like that thing's like a laser beam. Anyhow, I also had an NPAP down folder. You mean under folder, right? That I should have kept. Saw one new in box about 2 months ago, $600. Went back to buy it. It was gone. Man, Farm and Fleet had them when NPAPs were gone. Century was done. There were a few left over for whatever reason. NPAP underfolders. I could have bought one for like $300 or $3.99 or something. And the same thing, I went back and it was gone. That's one thing I sure hope that Zastava comes out with is an underfolder. That would be fabulous. I'd be all over that. That'd be my new go-to gun because I love Yugo underfolders. Let's get through these and then we'll get back to this. ALG trigger, highly recommended. What's up, J Patriot 12? Yeah, check out my video on them. I use them in everything. ULs and ETs. They're both fabulous, but the UL has a shorter reset and it's slicker. Some people say it's too light, but the reset is so short, it's the fastest trigger going. It's wonderful. Can't beat it. I've been touting ALG triggers, I think, longer than anybody on YouTube, pretty much. Back when nobody knew even what they were. They're great. I use ALG springs too in my Yugos or anything I feel is a little overgassed. You watched my video on installing it. I look back at that video and it's a pretty damn good video. And without, with considering camera angles you need and everything, it wasn't too bad. I hope it was easy to understand outsider. Let me know if you thought it was easy enough to understand and some of the intricacies. I'd be interested to know. Do you profile the disconnector tail on ALG triggers? No, I do not. Here's the reason. People, there was this big thing with, oh my God, it's mashing the rivet in the bottom, mostly on Arsenals, right? Was it Arsenals? Yeah, because they had the higher rivet down there. And it was smushing them and sometimes breaking the tail of the disconnector, right? Here's the thing. It doesn't happen anymore. ALG has changed the design slightly. They'll get close, and I won't say they won't hit it, but it's not like it used to be. And even then, it was rare to break one. And if you're and the question was then, should I grind down the rivet? No, dummy. Why would you grind your gun down? Replace it, grind the take a Dremel to your expensive rifle. It was hilarious. People are like, well, I just ground down the rivet. Really, genius? I'm not making fun of anybody. It's just funny. Think about that. That's a pretty easy question, right? $80 trigger. Well, at that time, they were $40 and $55 triggers. Or my $1,200 gun. What am I going to grind on? But yeah, don't worry about it. Not an issue anymore, unless you got a super, super old one, which I doubt. And I have some old ones, and yes, they hit, and they've profiled the rivet a little bit, and I don't care. It's fine. And I haven't broke one of them. Yeah, they did call it a DF down folder. You're right. The factory did. I'll just be glad when all the foolishness is over and gun guys can go back to enjoying guns. Soon enough, my friend. Look what's happening in Virginia tonight, huh? Looks like things are going our way. Good for them. They deserve it. Yeah, man, it helped. Cool. Most of all my AR builds have ALG triggers. Good stuff. ALG beat the shit out of my Draco rivet. I profiled all of the disconnector tails, and they've been good. That's great, man. If it works for you, no problem. Like I said, I had to profile the top hook on an ALG on my NPAP. Picture the bolt carrier coming back, and that kind of reverse hook is there. It would hit it and literally could not go past it. So I had to bring it down just enough, and it's been in there 7 years, running like a champ. Put my ALG on a mini Draco. That's what I did the video on. I was putting an ALG in the mini Draco. Funny thing is, though, I didn't keep it in there. That gun has a stock trigger still, whatever is stock on that gun, which is a factory trigger, I believe in that, because pistols don't have to abide by 922R laws. I just did it for the video. I put a CMC in mine, Alan, and I'm very happy. I have not tried a CMC. Oh, you're talking ARs. Yeah, I voted in Virginia. Good for you, man. I am so, if you're from Virginia, I am happy for you. You guys have been through some crap there, boy, with that. Some of those guys out there, they are insane. I was looking at a map of it, and it is solid. Solid. There is like no blue there at all. Now I guess everybody's finally sick of it. Guys, the pendulum swings, right? Both ways. It swung on Ronnie Reagan, right? And it swung on Trump, and it swings back. Well, it's swung to the left right now. It's up here. It's hanging, and it's just starting to drop. And when it does, that momentum's going to swing so hard, it might go flinging off to the right. We'll see. But it'll be interesting. I think everybody on both sides, and I've got friends on both sides, and I've got friends that are gun guys that are Democrats and all of that good stuff. And while I am a staunch believer in have my line in the sand, I believe that other people have the same right. Um, it's just when they want to infringe upon mine that I have an issue. And I try not to let it come between me and friends. So it is what it is. I think we all need to try to be a little more tolerant. I know sometimes it can be hard. I know sometimes it can be impossible. But um, I'm probably older than a lot of you guys, and I've seen it all my life, and it never was like this. It never was. Trump wins and all this hate, or Biden wins and all this hate. It was, oh, okay, well, the Democrat won. Well, we'll get them next time, and you lived with it and you went along and things were good. Or the guy, the Republican won, and the people on that side went, well, okay, we can live with it for 4 years. We'll go get them next time. We'll try harder. And that's how it went. There wasn't this massive change. So I hope it can get that way. I think everybody should take a deep breath and get along, because at the end of the day, most people, I believe, are good people at heart. And I just think everybody should open their minds, their hearts, and maybe their front doors a little bit, and get to know their neighbors and whatever. It's just, it's too much sometimes. I've shut the news off now. I haven't watched news, other than I told you about that map because I was walking by. I wasn't watching it. I haven't watched more than 30 seconds of news in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe. I don't know. Couldn't tell you what's going on out there. I just had enough. I'm going to worry about me and what affects me. He voted in Virginia. My factory trigger was garbage. I can imagine. Interrupter. I didn't see what you meant by that. I think the best experience I had with the trigger in an AK was a twisted trigger spring and double hook on my old Norinco. Great trigger, smooth, almost so smooth, or smooth in a way that they can be a little unpredictable sometimes. Papa B90 never is smooth and didn't have the same feel. Funny thing happened. The Dems wanted to give me literature at the poll. Let's go, Brandon, and kept it moving. That's awesome. I have gone down the toilet in my lifetime, and here is almost no middle ground anymore. Yep. All right. So thank you, everybody, for this stream. Let's get back to the subject of AKs and about what the best AK is out there on the market right now. So for those of you that just joined, real briefly, I went through how the AK market and what's in that market, in that segment, has improved so drastically, why the AK platform is the only one that has all this craziness about 5,000 round testing and mud puddles and dropping it in lakes and swinging from trees and all this stuff. But that Robski and the 5,000 round testing and all that attention paid to it has made the platform so much better. For those of you that haven't been in it for 15, 20, 25 years, trust me when I tell you, it is light years better. There's very little to no junk out there anymore. Like I said earlier, you can blindfold yourself, pick from a rack of every brand of AKs, grab it, go, oh, nice, a ZPAP, awesome, and go on your way and be perfectly happy. Or pick one and go, oh, nice, an Arsenal 106 Sapphire or whatever, and be perfectly happy, and it'll last forever. With rare exception, which I said a lot of the Sentry guns I would steer away from, and certainly the Pioneer, and I'm sure there's one or two other weird ones out there that I would steer away from. Other than that, every manufacturer, even ones that were good, a few years back, are even better now. Zastava is a prime example. Now you have chrome line barrels. You asked for it, you got it. They went away from. You've got. They're not building the 1 millimeter receivers anymore. Just the bulge trunnion guns. Everybody has listened. Arsenal. came out with the pistol, and it was set up weird. You couldn't add certain things to make it cooler. And they finally hit it on the head with the 44. They had a hole in the back or the little um, pick rail that was removable, or you could use it to mount a brace. And the barrel was the correct length without the fake hider on the front. They're doing the right things. They're listening to what the public and the market wants. And quality has gotten better. Look at the finish on Wassers is light years better. It's still not great, but it's light years better than it was 15 years ago when you got a gray, scratched up pile of junk. It ran great, did everything it's supposed to do, but it looked like a used gun. Always did. And that's even gotten much better. So let's talk about the good and bad in each one. We went through the 5 or so manufacturers / brands that are out there, starting with the military arsenals, right? And I'll say it again, whether you're new to the market and buying your first one, or you are someone who is trying to build a collection and you have a few under your belt, get the imports out of the way first, because they can go away at any with a stroke of the pen. They have. We just did it. Went through it with the ammo ban. I've seen it happen with Vepers. I've seen it happen with the Chinese rifles. I saw it happen with Sega rifles. Nobody ever thought they'd go away, and boom, they're gone, not coming back. So if you want to wait around till we lose whatever, maybe we lose Arsenal, or maybe we lose Zastava, and you really want to go, damn, I could have bought that for $800 or whatever, no, you don't want to. Get it now. The American ones will be there later. They're good guns. I'm not bashing them. Anyways, I digress. I covered everything we covered earlier for you guys. Now we're going to get into the pluses and minuses of each brand. So somebody type a brand real quick. First one to type brand is the one I'll use first here, or I'll hit on first. Somebody type a brand you want to hear the pluses and minuses about. Zastava, Cougar, Arsenal. Great. Here we go. Texas Bulletin with Arsenal. So no matter what you think of Arsenal, if you think they're overpriced, right? That's what we've heard. That when they were $800, we heard they were overpriced. Are they higher than others? Were they higher than others? Yeah, when they were 800, a Wasser was $499 to $550. Let's see, it would have been NPAPs pretty much. Those were probably $499, $599. Look at ZPAPs came out at $899. And maybe they're still there, but I paid a lot more than that for mine because I couldn't get one. I didn't care. I wanted one. I paid up. I paid over $1,000 for mine, well over $1,000. You guys might think I'm crazy, but whatever. It is what it is. So that's the biggest complaint, right? That they're overpriced. Well, maybe that can be said for the stamped guns. For the milled guns, I don't think they've ever been overpriced. I don't think they're overpriced today in comparison to the market, okay? Right now, I think they're all inflated. So let's just talk in relation to one rifle to the other, not to where they're at. I mean, if one was 5,000 and one was 48, it'd still be the differential, right? Not where they're at. The whole market is too high right now. We know that. Let's talk about in relation to each other. Are the milled guns overpriced compared to the stamped offerings on the market? No, they're not. That is a quality piece. While I prefer stamped guns, I just do. I like the look of it better. I like the aesthetics of it. And in my opinion, a well-built and well broken in stamped rifle can be as smooth or smoother than a milled gun. Again, well built and well broken in. I just like them better, but I love milled guns, and that milled receiver will outlive a stamped gun. It will. It's tougher. It's a better way of doing it. In general, it is um, smoother. There's no transition from rails to trunnion, none of that. So it's a great gun. And there's a lot that goes into manufacturing that, from the forging to the machining and on and on. It's an expensive gun to build. It's also their flagship and truly a military gun used by many, many, many militaries around the world. You cannot go wrong buying a Sam series gun. You just can't. Are expensive? Yes, they're expensive in comparison to the rest of what's out there. But are they worth it? Depends what you're looking for. If you want the best of the best and one that's going to last 7 lifetimes, while your stamped one will last 5 lifetimes, then go for it. Don't knock something else because maybe you don't like it or you like something better. Uh, the- If it's a piece of junk, fine, knock it, but it's not. And it's worth every penny in comparison. I'm not an Arsenal fanboy either. I have them, but I don't like them any more than I like my Yugos or my Vepers or whatever. I like them all. I appreciate them all. When I do my favorites, at the end of the day, you'll see they're all my favorites, or I wouldn't own them. Um, that being said, Arsenal paint absolutely sucks. It's, in my opinion, a crying shame that they take such nice rifles and throw that paint on them and ruin them, because you can buy an Arsenal, take it to the range, put 10 rounds through it, heat up the barrel a little, let it cool down. And after you've had your first one or two, this is what you'll do. Then maybe you put 20 rounds through it, let it cool down a little. You essentially heat cycle it, right? In hopes that the paint kind of heats up and comes back and heats up and stays. Eventually, it just burns away. It's the cheapest paint on the planet. And it usually holds up well on the receivers and on the top covers and all the other stuff. Just on the barrels between the front sight block and the gas block, it goes away real fast. It turns a coppery color and it'll rub off at first, and you're like, "Ooh, that coppery color's gone. Must have just been gunpowder dust." And then you get home and you clean it and wiping it down. And you look, well, no, now I got bare metal and the rest is painted, and or it'll I've heard of it flaking and bubbling. I've never had one, but it's junk. It's a shame you pay that much money and that's what you get. Now, in their defense, it's a military finish. Guns. The military's fine with it. Why? Goes back to the armory. They take a spray can or whatever they use, maybe an airbrush or something, and they shoot it again and send it out the next day. It doesn't matter. It's a tool at the end of the day. Here in America, we like our things nice, new, shiny, well finished, and some people are good with it. Some people understand it. Other people are not so good with it. Now, I would love nothing more than to take a few of my arsenals and Cerakote them in a beautiful black, a graphite black, and they would be just and color filled a couple things, and they would be stunning, beautiful, gorgeous. And I might just do those. Some of them, though, are going to be worth a lot of money. Are worth a lot of money, and does that detract from them? I don't know. Maybe to that super stickler guy, but I would think a guy buying one would go, "Ooh, look at that. A perfect factory looking color Cerakote job. Outstanding." And when I do the first one, which will be my, which one am I going to do first? I'm going to do the SLR 107R, the Fickdock first. That one's the worst. And that's the one I'm going to Cerakote first. And you will see it live and in color. So you got the bad, the finish. You've got the good, the milled receivers. They do put out, Arsenal USA and Fime Group and them put out a pretty decent US made trigger. It's gotten better. I don't like the deep curved one. I like the one that's got a little curve, but well, it's pretty much a straight uh, trigger with just a little curve at the bottom. I like that trigger. Decent triggers for what they are. Can be made excellent triggers with just a little work. So they've going for them. As far as fit and finish, um, the milled gun's fabulous, of course. The pretty good. I've had out of all the ones I've had a canted front sight, just a hair. But other than that, they're as straight as an elephant's dick. I haven't had any problems. And the one gun that was a problem, I bought basically new in box from the secondary market. And I found out why the guy was selling it, because that was off. And it bugged him. I bought it with, it's a fixed stock 107 SLR with plum furniture. And I drove out the two front sight pins, moved it just a tiny bit, ran a drill through it, and punched them back in, and the gun's perfect. It had a problem with a trunnion, the bolt hitting it and locking up once in a while, because the carrier needed to be profiled just a hair, literally a couple swipes with a file, and then smooth it, literally 45 seconds worth of work, and the gun's been perfect. Should I have to do that? No. But back then the gun was $699, $799. Yeah, it was a lot of money compared to other stuff then, but wasn't an issue. Other than that, every single I've gotten from Arsenal has been exceptional. Um, they build a great gun. Even they're stamped. Um, and that goes for Bulgarian built guns as well as the ones they build or finish and put together here in the States. A lot of people don't realize that. They think all Arsenals are built in Bulgaria, shipped over here. No, a lot of them over the years, different models have been assembled here in the States by Arsenal USA. They have brought the receiver in and finished the gun here. Now, I'll tell you, some of those guns built in Las Vegas are way better finished than the factory. What was the one? The 95? Those guns were fabulous. I mean, just smooth, gorgeous. Arsenal USA does a really nice job. If you're looking for something purely Bulgarian, well, then do your research and know what you're talking about and what you're buying when it comes to Arsenal. So that can be a bit of a surprise to some people. So I don't know if that's a plus or a minus, but it's out there. I've never had anything break on them. And we're talking over, I don't know, over 10 rifles from them at least. So little good, little bad. Pricing is higher, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's par for the course. It takes a lot to make a milled rifle. Are their stamp guns expensive compared to others? Yeah, maybe, but they are imports and they're nice guns. So it is what it is. Next one. Let's go over Zastava, okay? So Zastava over the years has brought in just about everything. Started with their PAPs, then NPAPs and OPAPs and the 95s, the pistols, and on and on and on. NPAPs, great guns. OPAPs, great guns. ZPAPs, essentially an OPAP, right? But now with a chrome bore. They have more than any other manufacturer, I'll say, listened to the U.S. Market and made changes. So that's a fabulous thing. That's a big, big plus. Let's talk about the parts involved and the weight. So you've got a heavy profile barrel, adds more weight. You've got bulged trunnions, adds more weight. And you've got a 1.5 receiver, adds more weight. I don't see it as much lately because they're selling so well and so many guys have them and so many new guys have them and frankly may not know the difference. But even those guys that do, I don't hear the weight thing come up all the time. Oh my God, ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. And when you got to hump that rifle on your bug out and you're going, please stop. It's not that big a deal. To me, the weight it's a plus and a minus. The older I get or the more out of shape I get, whatever, do I notice a difference? Yeah. Do I mind it? Not really. I look at it as kind of a pro almost because the gun stabilizes better. Um, it feels to me much more solid than, let's say, a true AKM like the Cougar or like the Wasser or a Fox. I'm not saying it's better or worse than either of those. What I'm saying is the tactile feel of the gun, the way it sounds when it racks, all of that stuff, it just feels more solid. You don't get that echoey, knocking, hollow sounding 1 millimeter receiver sound. I like that. Um, that being said, a 1.5 millimeter receiver, have fun. If that cracks, I don't think I've ever heard of the thicker receivers cracking. The end paps, yeah, because of the wonky um, rivet pattern along with the top cover pin, all in a line. That caused on a few of them to crack, but frankly, it didn't bother anything and it didn't stop them from running. And any of the ones I knew of never went any further. That leads to another. So a lot of guys think a big minus for Zastava is the push button top cover release. For those of you that don't know, originally they didn't have that years and years and years ago, the military guns I'm talking about, until they started firing grenades and top covers started flying off. So their solution was to put that retaining catch in there. Frankly, I like it. You know why? I don't have to dick around with line. Not that it's hard, but don't have to dick around lining up the top cover and slamming it on there. I can allow the carrier end and spring to stay forward of the catch with the catch out. So it's not engaging the top cover. I can set the top cover on nice and tight and then hit the button and ching, it pops into place. No problem. Same with taking it off. I can push it in, then release the side button. It holds it there and I can simply take my top cover off. I think it's great. Some guys, I don't know, boy, that big extra step, I don't know. Maybe they just don't like the look of it. Maybe they think it clutters things up. Teach his own. Again, I see it maybe as a plus, maybe as a minus, but in my case, it's a plus for sure. I like that. Let's see. They listen to the public. Very heavy duty gun, although it may be looked at as a con because of the weight. What else? I like the heavy profile. Nobody finishes parts nicer than Zastava. The parts they're machining are extremely well done. Bluing, that can be looked at as maybe not as durable because it could rust, I guess. But God, is it pretty on those guns? It used to be even prettier. But I just like a blued AK, and I'll take that over the Arsenal paint any day of the week. I'll take the risk of getting some rust to have it last. It's a beautiful finish on that gun, and I've never had one rust at all. They leave their carriers in the white. They're polished and they're made of a little bit different metal. There's some alloy or something put in it that keeps them from discoloring and rusting, which is cool. I've never had one develop any stains or marks, and they run smoother because there's no park on them. There's no paint on them. They just run nice and smooth. Um, That's why I like them. So the bad on it, maybe weight you could complain about. Used to be they don't. It doesn't do it anymore. But you've all heard of the cheek slap. That was on the big boat paddle. Uh, American-made stocks they put on the end paps. Although the original AB1 military stocks were similar, and people think once in a while that that's the one people are talking about. No, it was the USA made balsa wood, huge, ginormous, almost Monte Carlo stock that did the slapping, not the military wood. Military wood is just fine on that. As is the new ZPAP stocks. They're much, much smaller. It was the old ones. It's a thing of the past. If you pick up an old fixed stock NPAP, it may have one. I'll break mine out one day and show you guys in the live stream here the stock, what I'm talking about. It was terrible anyways. They came loose because the wood was soft. No matter how much you tightened, eventually they just were perma loose. So got to get rid of them anyways. So that was a big issue with them. Other than that, not much to be upset with anything in the Zastava line. Let's go to Cougar. At one point, and even today somewhat, they offered more variants than anybody else on the market. Back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, you could get 82 different versions of a Romanian AK variant, right? You could get dongs, fixed stocks, folding stocks, underfolders, DMRs, RPKs, two versions of the RPK, just on and on. There used to be a list, Century, I think, or who was it? J&P, maybe. JP Sales would have a full page ad and 3 columns of different Cougar models, all some done there, some done here. There where you could buy anything, and they came with so much stuff. That was a huge plus in the day. The minus is the fit and finish was crap, absolute crap. They ran. I'm not saying they don't. Please don't jump out of your socks. I'm not saying they're bad at all when I say that. But you looked at that gun, and it looked like it had been dragged down 10 miles of bad road. They built them. I think they had a barrel full of barrels. And when the forklift or whatever brought them over to the assembly line, they were clanging against each other and scratching each other. And the receivers were in a bin, and they just, and and they're a simple park finish. So you know what happens to park when you drag it against something sharp, right? It may get shinier, it may scratch, it may change the sheen. And that's what they did. And they, from head to toe, they were covered like that. They had the worst finish possible. If you're the type of guy that meant something to. They also, their military wood, when they were building them with military wood, it was just so dry and not really a shellac finish on it or anything. And much of it was surplus wood. So it'd be marked up and gouged up and all of that. Now, today, what's the big drawback? If you get one with wood, it's junk. It's balsa wood. It's garbage. You're going to replace it right away. It's pretty looking. I like the blonde look. I am going to get a wasser because I want a new, nice wasser. I said earlier in the video, my second gun was a wasser. I still have it. And if you look down my gun, it is twisted. The receiver is twisted. The stock is twisted. Everything's twisted, but it runs like a bastard, and it shoots on target. It shoots remarkably well. It always runs. It's just bugs the hell out of me. If you got OCD, oh my God, this thing would put you in a hospital. I've looked at it, but way back in the day when I was learning about AKs, I sat with that thing and looked at it and tried to figure it out, set it. Granite's usually pretty level, right? T squares, this, that, trying to figure out, well, is it the stock? Is it the receiver? Is the front sight off? Is the rear sight block twisted in the uh, you drive yourself nuts. Levels and all kinds of stuff. And I finally came to the realization that when they riveted the receiver, for those of you guys that have built guns, if you rivet in a certain pattern or don't use a certain pattern, as you pull the rivets tight on one end or one side, uh, and then go in the wrong pattern, essentially, that receiver can twist. And that's essentially what happened to this gun. Now, and I don't, to this day, I don't know how it runs so well. Oh my God. At some point it's going to grind half the piston and piston head off of it in the gas tube, and it's just going to fail. But that's probably 70 years from now. It's absolutely amazing that thing runs. If we ever meet up sometime, or I'm going to a shoot you're going to be at or something, say, Chris, bring your wasser. I want to take a look at the worst wasser on the planet. And I'll bring it. It's hilarious. And you'll run the gun and shake your head and walk away and go, son of a bitch, how does that thing work? It is truly amazing. It's the great thing with AKs. They just work. So you got bad wood today. The finish has gotten much better, much better. So that's a plus. Hey, it's probably the truest to AKM format there is on the market today. Arsenal doesn't make an AKM like product. Really, nobody. Hugo certainly doesn't. The other thing closest to it is the Fox, right? So what's great about an AKM pattern? Well, guess everything on the planet is made to fit that gun. If you want to throw, grips, stocks, gas tube covers, lower hand guards, everything, bayonets, triggers, this, that, the other, anything you want to put on that gun works. Obviously, Hugo parts don't work, but anything that you can think of, Russian, Polish, whatever, it all fits on that gun. Customize to your heart's content. Light, really light. One of the lightest guns out there. Nice barrel profile. Comes with a slant brake. Guys, why do we like to change out brakes and or compensators and or barrel nuts? Or that doesn't, what I'm trying to say is, why do we like to change out slant brakes so much? Do we not think they work? They work magnificently for what they are. It's typical Russian thought process. The most simple thing works, and works well. Might not be the absolute best, but it works extremely well. It's so simple. It weighs nothing, and it's marvelous. They work great. Don't think you got to run out and buy $100 or $200 muzzle device to help you shoot better, or because it needs it, or whatever. Those slant brakes work magnificently well. They don't work so well at taming flash, but if you're looking to control the muzzle, they work great. So just my opinion on some things. It's easy to find furniture and stuff. It's easy to make it your own or your style. It's super lightweight, super durable, always works. It's inexpensive, comparatively or relatively speaking. Never in my children and my grandchildren's life did I think I would see $900 Wassers. Never. Nor would I ever pay it, I guess. I guess I'll wait for them to come down a bit. Maybe they'll come down to $7.99, $6.99. Who knows? I'll get one eventually. Another one, a good new production one. But as far as the market goes today, it's about the least expensive import out there. And it's a great gun. It's if you're a new buyer, it's hard to beat that. Now, yeah, for a couple $100 more, you can have a Zastava, and yes, it's better finished. Yes, it's a bit heavier. Yes, it doesn't take all the furniture, but as a newbie to it, you're not going to notice anyways. You couldn't tell me the difference of it if you're a true new guy to it. Later on, you'll go, oh, wait, why is that like that? But to most newbies, it looks like an 8K to me, right? Um, the ZPAP is, in my opinion, um, a better built gun, better finished gun, better fit and finish, um, more sturdy, will probably last longer. Not that you'll wear either of them out. Um, just a step up, that's all. And it's not putting down the wasser at all. Great gun. So very few minuses to it, other than the finish still isn't quite up to par, but much better. Does come with crappy furniture to begin with. Other than that, they've gotten a lot straighter. God, used to be, you could literally go through 10 new washers in the box and still not find a straight one. Maybe get to the 11th or 12th and finally find one that's straight. Either that or you were so sick of looking at them or you were dizzy that, yeah, that one looks straight, I'll take it. And the next day you go, shit, it's still crooked. Every one of them. That's gotten a ton better. You don't see that anymore. Also, as a manufacturer, they got a ton of stuff out there. How cool are the Dracos and the mini Dracos and the micro Dracos? And God, I love the side folding stocks. I love their wire stocks. They do make an underfolder. Haven't seen one new in a while. It's got that classic downslope. I do like a straight back underfolder like the M70 AB2s for shooting. And and if you're going to use a red dot or something, because the down sloped ones, while they look cool and classic, suck for an optic. But yeah, and I don't know if I don't think there's any new AES 10Bs in right now. You may find one new somewhere. It is still offered, but I just don't know if they've gotten a batch in. But the PSLs are out there. They're available. Cool gun. A lot of cool offerings they have. There is some confusion, and I got to look. They're what they used to call their paratrooper model, or is it an M model or something, where it uses the combo gas block front sight block. And you can chop the barrel later. That's a really cool gun, but I don't think for some reason that gun's built by Cougar. I think at one point they did one, but I don't think the ones that are around now do. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff there. Let's check back into the chat, and then we're going to get into Polish guns here real quick, okay? Let's see what everybody's saying. Man, Jay Patriot is going to town. He must be pissed at something I said to be commenting that much. This should be good. Let's see. Man, oh man, you guys been chatting away. I never seen them. Hold on. I'm just trying to find where I left off last time. I wish PSA could actually make a 74 that works. They will. They didn't make a 47 that worked either. It took them how many tries? And they got it now, but it took them a long time. They had issues, man. And the problem was they tried it out on everybody, kind of. But hey, big props to them for what they're doing. Outstanding job. Wish I got a 47 when I had a 74 when I got the chance. Yeah, I'd like to have one. I still don't have one, guys. I'm a huge collector and I don't have one. I didn't want to do the whole another platform mags ammo thing. I'm kind of glad I didn't. I think I like the 5.56 guns. They're great now. I don't, with the 7 and 6 going away. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it'd be cool to have one. I don't know. And I still might do one. Romania makes Wasser 2. Yeah, the one. Uh, I don't think they still make it, do they? The Wasser 2 and 545. That was the early one when years ago they had the 1, 2, and 3, and there was the 762, the 556, and the 545. But I don't think they've made those in years. It was called the SAR 1, 2, and 3. I don't think there was ever a Wasser 2, was there? Maybe there was. Who knows? They made so much stuff. They probably did. I wonder why they don't import. Yeah, maybe they make them over there and they don't bring them in. Zastava M91, biggest ripoff on the market. Why? Why? That's a wonderful gun. I mean, that's a pretty damn nice gun. Adjustable gas, everything. Shoots magnificent. I shot it with Zastava. Really nice gun. 20. I think you can buy one now around $2,500. Nice gun. I think I'd rather have the Cougar though, because I like that classic look of the wood. So I think I'd go that way, but I'll bet that Zastava shoots more accurately. I still want to get one from Zastava to do some testing on, and I would love to run it up against a PSL. That'd be pretty fun. How many rounds did you get through it? I would have buy the M91. I wouldn't buy the M91 for that price. I hear a lot of talk on PSA K74. A few hundred or so. Don't have an M91, too much for me. Yeah, they are expensive. I don't own one either because there's other guns I want in that price range. And I just don't care for. I like the Romanian one with the scope and everything. It's just a cool gun. I've wanted one for a while now, and I should have grabbed them when I could have got them for $1,500. I'm kicking myself for that one. Wanted a Bulgarian 74, but couldn't find one in the price range. Yeah, now the 74 kit guns and built kits are expensive, man. Rockford Ordnance, IWI, Galil, Asbestos AK. Not an AK, sir. Not an AK. Not at all an AK. Doesn't have AK controls. Doesn't have an AK receiver. Doesn't have AK handguards. Doesn't have AK anything, really. Is it based on the idea? Yeah. But it's not. And that's not. I'm not harping on anybody. I can see why people say that, but I don't. I think it's doing the Galil a disservice to lump it in there because it's such a great gun on its own. The Galil design is, man. I got the opportunity to shoot a lot of rounds through a Galil when I was going with Mark Krebs and testing his Galil. So if you've seen my 9x39 video, Krebs, with his proprietary gun, the 9x39, before that gun came out, there was supposed to be that his 9x39 was going to come out on the Galil. The problem was at the time, there wasn't enough aces in the country for him to build enough to base it on that chassis. So, and he's pretty tight with IWI. He'll tell you when you talk to him that it's like dealing with a small company. They're so wonderful and so nice and go away, and you can talk to anybody there. He loves them. And his plan was to do his 9x39 on the Galil. And he had 2 prototypes built, and I shot the shit out of both of them. And they were great guns. One was OD green. For some reason, he always does one prototype in OD green. And, God, if I could have those prototypes, the OD green ones, man, that would be cool. And we shot the heck out of them. Matter of fact, I have a full video done on the Krebs Galil with a full hour-long interview with Mark and a full-day shooting session showing us shooting those guns, and was about to drop it when he made the decision to go with the Sharps receiver for the 9x39. So it's actually uploaded to YouTube and everything. It's just sitting in private right now. All I would have to do is click it over to public, but I don't know if Mark wants it out there. Maybe I'll ask him one time and see if he minds. Maybe now he doesn't care. And I'll let you guys see it. Man, are they cool. So that's why I say it. I don't consider an AK. It's its own thing unto itself. And the Galil is such a cool pattern and or variant, let's say, but it's a very distant cousin, and it's got its own greatness all onto itself. So do I like them? Would I want to have one? Absolutely. Let's see. What happened here? Everything is overpriced now. Agreed. Atlantic had them a couple weeks ago for 1,400 battlefield pickup. Yeah, the Bulgarian. Atlantic's doing a lot of cool builds, and Atlantic builds some very nice rifles. Right now, let's stop for a second and let's talk about boutique companies. So it used to be that a boutique rifle from Krebs or Definitive Arms or somebody at the low end might run you 1,500. At the high end, who knows, 2,500, $3,000. And guys would go, why would you ever pay $1,200 for a Krebs gun? All he does is this and this and this. Typically, no one, a guy that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, right? Because he's never even laid hands on one, or let alone shot one, or he'd understand. So Krebs guns, you could buy 12, 1,300. Now look what you're paying. And guess what you can buy right now, guys? Think about this one. And man, I think all of us are missing the boat. You can buy a Krebs core rifle. I think, I got to go look, but I think he's probably still about $1,500. And you have a hand-built, masterfully assembled, smoother than glass. I mean, the whole thing, everything smoother than glass. The trigger, forget about it. Oh my God. The safety, everything with the best parts, furniture, the best finish, hand laid finish on that thing, like automotive paint for $1,500. And it's a fabulous, fabulous rifle. And the top of the line Krebs gun is not all that much more than that. Definitive Arms, I don't know what they've done on pricing, but think about it. I don't think those boutique guns have really kept pace. I got to look. I haven't talked to Mark in a long time, and frankly, I haven't looked. But I thought about it the other day. If I'm going to go buy another AK, why wouldn't I run right over and say, hey, Mark, give me a core and give me a, whatever, and I'd be in them cheaper than an Arsenal. And wow, what a rifle! I mean, I have Krebs rifles. I just why not have another one? So yeah, if you're thinking about something, take a look. And he has them in stock. I know he does. Look on Instagram at his stuff. He's always racks of them. Cool stuff. Give Brian a call over there and get yourself one. Nice stuff. Brian's a super cool guy, by the way. Oh, they're all nice guys over there. That I am a fanboy. I admit I'm a Krebs fanboy. Absolutely. No doubt. I miss talking to Mark and all the guys over there. My schedule has just not been there to get over there and hang out with them on a weekend. So one of these days, or I'll invite them out shooting here or something. Plus COVID screwed him up. Mark he was very careful when it came to that, from what I hear. So, God bless. Got to keep them healthy, right? The man, the myth, the legend. Let's see. Saw 5.56 and 7.62 versions. Only had a couple. Different furniture. Almost bought it. The Mighty Wasser. Yes. I'm glad I bought ammo when you did. So am I. But I'm still buying. Keep buying. Cost averaging. It's like stocks, guys. Keep buying. It's actually coming down. I got 100 rounds of 9mm the other day, Winchester, for $35. Yeah, I know it used to be $18 for that, but the same store is selling Wolf steel case 9mm for $20 a box. So this comes out to $17 a box for Winchester. That's about the cheapest you find it right now, guys. $17 for a 50 round box. Prices are coming down a little. When they get down to $8 a box for steel case and $10 a box. Let's see. No, $168 a thousand. We're good. That ain't never happening again on steel case. Might happen on brass. We'll see. Bought thousands years back. Yep. Hopefully we all did, right? When COVID hit, I had 100 rounds of 5.56 LOL. I was stressed. I would have been stressed too. Man, so let's talk about that. That's funny. And I'm sorry I'm getting off topic here, but I think a lot of people, maybe some guys won't admit it, but when COVID was first coming down and nobody really knew what the hell it was, and they're talking about lockdowns, right? I was working, and at the time was still having to cross state lines to go home at night. We hadn't made the move yet. I had just taken the new job, and I remember they had put up or put near the border barricades, barrels, this and that. And it looked like, well, there could be some construction coming, but there was no machines, no nothing. And I thought they're going to block this border. And they never did. But that last night going home, I got off work late and about 9 o'clock, and I'm driving home, and it was desolate. And I mean desolate. There wasn't a car on the road. I was the only car on the road. And I'm in Wisconsin, and I had told my wife, stock up on this, stock up on that, da 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 da. I don't think Wisconsin was closing down yet, but Illinois was. And I thought, I know how my wife shops, and she's not thinking this is that big a deal. I'm going to do the Rockford Ordinance prepper thing, right? And guys, when I prep, right? I had went to the bank. I pulled out a bunch of cash. I stopped at Walmart, and I walked in the front door, and I headed back. I started the back work forward. I went back to the dairy case. I'm in Wisconsin, right? There ain't a gallon of milk, a block of cheese, a nothing. And I went, that's when it sunk in. I went, this is like being in Cold War era Russia. There's nothing. I had the only vegetables left were like the shit nobody eats, lima beans and crap like that, right? 3-bean mix, stuff like that. There was nothing. I picked and chose some stuff. I loaded up. I couldn't get any more groceries in my trunk, in my back seat, the floor, everything, cases of water, cleaners, all the shit they had talked about. Then I went across the parking lot to Aldi. I just bought and bought and bought and bought and bought. I picked up 2 cylinders of propane. I had put away almost 100 gallons of gas the previous day. On and on and on and on. And then driving home that night, and cigarettes. I had bought cartons and cartons and cartons of cigarettes. Sorry, guys, it's my last vice. It's all I got. I enjoy it. And it's not lit. Anyways, driving home, it's pitch dark out. Pitch dark. And there's nobody on the road. This is a main highway, north-south. There's no one out. And I thought, man, this is real. This is what's going to be, And you didn't know. And you're going home. And how long are we going to be there? You got this mind's eye picture. Are we going to be stuck in the house and we're going to see the military vehicles going up and down the road, that kind of thing? Am I going to be able to get to work tomorrow? Was my big thing. I had even went so far as to map out back routes and everything. I knew old farm roads and stuff that could get me there that weren't nobody knew about other than the farmers that lived there. And yeah, anyhow, uh, I was freaking out pretty good there for a while. And then as the days back and forth to work, and in Wisconsin, we didn't close down, and we kept on going through the whole thing. It was really nothing the whole time. Um, anyhow, one of those things, but ammo wasn't one of the things I had to worry about. Thank God. Although I don't remember buying more than, but I probably did order some in. But having 100 rounds, yeah, I would have soiled myself. I bought 8,000 rounds of Barnul by 39 and 19. I should have bought more when it was cheaper. Everybody says that, but guys, you got what you got. Keep adding to it, and you'll be just fine. If I go in a store that has ammo, even if I don't need it, I may not buy a case because I usually place my orders with the place that I do business with all the time for years and years. I'll go buy it today. I bought 2 boxes of 223 Wolf because it was $9.99 a box. Well, why not? It's two. You just throw it in a pile. That's my shooter stuff. So I don't have to break into cases. I don't want to break into cases. So I buy it. You just buy it. You see something, you throw it. You don't miss the $10 at a time, $20 at a time. And before you know it, it's boxes and boxes and boxes. I mean, all those little boxes are in big boxes, and it's every color and type and under the sun. And you always got the type of ammo you're looking for, whether it's to test something or, hollow point or full metal jacket or whatever. So always be buying. Don't worry about that. I got another 500 sub 76239 at KVAR. They still have them. What'd you buy? Martin Co., tell us what you bought. I may have to drop this channel right now and jump over to KVAR while we speak for 500. Let's see. Got to hit bed. All right, Ryan, thanks for stopping in. Have a good night. We appreciate all you guys stopping in. Hey, guys, if you want to help out the channel, you can do a super chat. It would be greatly appreciated. Ammo is expensive these days, and so are the guns. And we purchase everything you see we use here, from ammo to guns, is 100% on this channel. I do not get donations from anybody. I do get to test an occasional gun, but I pointed out, and the only two that I've not gotten to keep, but gotten to test from manufacturers so far has been Zastava and Krebs. Other than that, and everything you see, I have purchased for the channel. Sometimes we'll buy it just to do a test and then sell it. Other times we'll keep it. It just depends. You trade them around, move them around, whatever. But it's all on us. So anything you can help out with would be greatly appreciated. So the super chat's on. Check it out. My Wasser is a little off, but shoots like a laser, right? They all do. It's amazing. You can get Steelcase 223 right now, $300 for a case. Really? 1,000-round case? $300? You're kidding. You know why I want Steelcase 223? I'll tell you guys. My IWI X95 crunches brass like crazy, so I can't reload it. Bugs me. My Sam 5 shoots awesome. Overgassed, man, oh man, that thing. Nothing in this planet shoots brass further than a Sam 5 rifle. It friggin' launches that stuff, and it chews it. It bangs it. Plus the Setme rifle, the green one we got, that thing crunches brass too. And crunching brass bothers me because I can't reload it. So I run steel through it. I run steel in my AKs, my ARs. I love steel case. And no, it doesn't hurt anything. I'm living proof of it. Not once have I even had to replace an extractor. Let's see. Only thing I don't. Oh, you caught it, Jay Patriot. Good catch. Good catch. What's a downside on the wasser? In a lot of guys, some guys it doesn't matter to, but in a lot, no dimple, no dimple. Yeah, it does leave a little to be desired. That dimple's kind of classic, right? Some guys will mistakenly think that because it doesn't have a dimple, the mags are loose, or that's why Wassers notoriously in the past had mag fit wobble. It's not the case, guys. The dimple does not hold it. Look through the top, disassemble your gun, put a mag in it, and look down. It doesn't touch the dimple. There's plates in there to uh, support the mag. And the reason that dimple is there to begin with is to stiffen that part of the receiver. Why? Because you have the huge cutout for the mag opening. That's a huge weak spot in the gun, in the receiver, right? You just took the one thing holding both ends of the gun together, both trunnions, and just cut a huge hole in it. Not to mention the whole top is open and, trigger guard, everything. That dimple's there to stiffen up those sides. And then they weld in plates in the side to support the mag. Those plates are what, and the mag opening are what cause or stop mag wobble, not dimples. Everybody got that one? Okay. I know most of you guys know that, but some don't. But a coat hanger folding stock for mag for you guys a little bit. Stocks, they're cool to have and change up. You can put the wood on one day, you can put the wire stock on the next, you can put an aftermarket one, you can put a folder on. That's what's cool about a Wasser and a Fox. You can change things up and make it new for a while. Wasser started my AK addiction. Damn, yep, it didn't it for most of us. My M70 started it, but the Wasser was a couple weeks behind. Slant brake for right-handers. You can adjust that, right? You can adjust your slant brake for a left-hander. Pretty much all of them. There's 2 notches in it. Move it to the next notch. Viola, left-hander brake. Boom. There's 2 notches. One is for the right-handed shooter. The other is for the left-handed shooter. Now you know. He's going, oh my God, really? I got to go look. I'm thinking about getting rid of my art. No, you're not. Don't ever get rid of your RPK. There's very few things in this world as cool as an RPK. I love it. Man, I got to break out the RPKs. Have you guys even seen, did you watch my video on my paratrooper? There's not many in the country built right now. There was only a handful of kits brought in to begin with. And even less that were built. And mine was built by Two Rivers, and it's beautiful and it's friggin' awesome. Don't get rid of RPK. Are you crazy? Yep. See, he said the same thing. All right. It just jumped on me. So you guys get lucky. I get to get through the end of these. I'm skipping over some. Sorry if I missed your thing, but I was teaching my daughters about the guns, how to break down, how to recognize 9mm, etc. When the foolishness started, I had an okay amount of food on hand, but I ramped up. Yeah, Joe's always preparing. He does a good job. What kind of barrels does the Krebs AK use? Depends on what he's building at the time. But they are, I'm trying to think, okay, so my Krebs SLR 107 obviously uses the Arsenal barrel. He's done Vepers. He's done a bunch of different rifles as base rifles. So you'll get that. On the core, I got to think. I think there's 2 barrels available, one on that and one on the one up. One is the melanite finish, and the other I think is chrome lined. Some of the stuff he does not disclose the manufacturers simply because of agreements he has, not because he's trying to hide anything. He will tell you, show you everything. They are all top notch. I promise you that. Really, really nice stuff. And anybody, you'll hear once in a while somebody say something about, well, he was basing a rifle on one of Century's things. No. At one point, he did build a couple of rifles based on Century rifles, but they were uh, they were test rifles. They were talking about something. He never went into full production with it, and trust me, you don't have, when it comes to his stuff, you don't have to worry about anything. I will find out for you what he's using now, and if he divulges the manufacturer. Um, I use a lot of facts and barrels. Almost all my AR builds have facts and barrels. I like them a lot. Atlantic selling top loader drums for $200. Are we talking Chinese / Romanian drums, or are we talking true Romanian top loaders? Oh, top loader. You said top loader. Okay. Yeah, they've been about 200 for a long time. They have them on and off. They're nice drums. ZPAP Serbian redwood with side folder. Yeah, why not? It's a ZPAP, man. You can always change furniture out. I bought the maple. I liked it. It's cool. Been thinking lately that I might do my NPAP on my ZPAP, but I like that gun just with iron sights and or a red dot right now. I'm really enjoying that rifle. I get one of those core guns before I got another stamped arsenal. That core gun's a nice gun, really is. And you can change anything out on that too. You can do wood. He's got nice Polish wood too. You can get them with Polish wood. Really, really nice. So, yeah, I may do that. I've wanted to do one for the longest time. All right, back to pluses and minuses. Let's get to Polish guns. So let's start with the Fox, okay? And guys accuse me all the time of leaving Polish rifles out of this. So for once, guys, I'm not leaving them out. It's not that I do it on purpose. I don't own one right now, so I can't speak to some things on them. I have shot them. Here's what I will tell you. They are painted, but it's a nice paint. Matter of fact, from what I understand, it's the same proprietary paint they've been using for the military and for these guns forever. It's a perfect, not too shiny, not too dull, and it, unlike the Arsenal paint, it lasts. No problems there. Looks really nice. You can get that Fox in a million different patterns as far as furniture goes. So choices. And again, it is basically a true AKM. So you can use anything on it. You can change it, modify it, use it, stock, however, to your heart's content. Fit and finish for the money is nicer than the Wasser. Much nicer than the Wasser. And pretty much, I think about the same price, maybe $100 or $2 more, but in my opinion, well worth it. Nice rifle, hard to beat. I will say this: the ones I've run that were brand new seem to be just a little rougher, but it breaks in right away. Once you fire one that's got 500 rounds through it, they get better and better and better and better, to the point where they're smooth as glass. It just, for whatever reason, I don't know, the paint or the park underneath it or whatever, just a little different, but they really work themselves in well. Solid, nice. What I remember is very uniform, nice rivets, uniform finish, no gaps, straight, just nice looking rifle all the way around. And the ones with the Polish wood, I really like. It's such, if you want an absolute classic looking rifle, AKM pattern with wood furniture, that's the rifle to buy, I think, in my opinion. what else should we talk about here? Polish. Well, who can leave out the barrel? You got pistol pattern right now. Um, that's a cool gun. A lot of guys don't like. Oh, getting back to the Fox. The only the downfall to the Fox. I wish it didn't have it. Is that little stud behind the receiver by the stock to hook the rail system on? You can grind it off. You can whatever. You can use the rail system, but that gun is so classic looking. I hate that it has it. I really do. I would leave that to the Barilla. It's just that it's cool. I like that system. The rail system that hooks to the rear sight block and then to the stud behind just between the stock and the rear of the receiver. I think that's so cool and such a cool proprietary thing and a natural progression sort of in modernizing the AK. I think it's a really cool way to do it. It's solid as a rock, and it's just cool. I really like that barrel. I'm struggling right now with do the pistol or do the rifle. I really am tempted to do a rifle, but I think the pistol is going to go away first. So I really don't want another braced pistol. I have so many. Um, I don't know. I feel like, God, you want them both, right? But I don't know. God, there's so many. There's so many right now. There's a lot of good stuff out there, guys. Snap it up before it's gone because they're going away and you're going to kick yourself. You're going to kick yourself. And here's where guys go wrong. I'm going wrong right now because I go, well, I'd like a barrel pistol. I'd like a barrel rifle. God, I'd like a core. I can get that always. So, okay, I'll put that aside. But maybe I should, God, I want a Bren too. Maybe I should get a Bren. What else do I want? I really want to get a Scorpion carbine. There's so, and I think which one is, how should I do? And I do nothing. I do nothing rather than just pick one and do it. Anything's better than nothing because when you get it in your hands and you get it home, you go, haha, look how cool this is, right? And that's a lot cooler than sitting there going, what do I buy? Just do it. Get something. It'll be cool. You're not going to make a mistake. They're all good. You're not selling them. You're keeping them. So anyhow, make a decision. But that Burrow's a really nice gun. Really nice. I have not handled it. By all reports, well finished, typical Polish style, and it's the real deal, right? So why not? Why not? I covered boutique guns there a little bit, and now let's cover some U.S. guns. Like I said, if you don't have all, Jay Patriot with a super chat, my man, $4.99. Thank you so much. It seems like so little, but no, it's not. It means a lot, guys. It really does. It means a lot. We put a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. And I don't do it for the money. Trust me, I don't do it for money. I do it to be able to just pass along guys or whatever the little tiny bit of knowledge I have. Yeah, make fun of me. Just a little bit of knowledge. That's all I have. A tiny bit. If I wish I was with Mark Krebs on a Saturday and he told me stories about developing different things and different gun industry and the AK and its development and countries and when he was in Russia and the amount of knowledge in that man's pinky. And he is the most down-to-earth guy you'd ever want to meet. And just a nice guy right out of the gate. There's no pretentiousness, no elitism at all, nothing. He's down to earth, man. He likes to shoot. If he could get out and shoot every week, he would. He'd rather be out shooting than in there. Uh, but yeah, I have just this tiny little bit of knowledge that I like to pass along to you guys, and hopefully um, help you guys out a little bit with some things, avoid a couple pitfalls. Right now, it's hard to make a mistake in the AK market. It really is. Only mistake you could make is lack of action and missing out on something. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't work for any factories or I'm just telling you from experience. There's a few things I moved on and I hadn't, and I could have had I just made the damn decision. So next time you walk in the shop and they have something you've been thinking about on the wall, just grab it. That's what I do. Ask the guys at my local shop up here in Wisconsin. Um, I walk in and I'm like looking for something, and he's like, "What? What do you want to look at today?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you got that's cool, different?" Da, 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 da. And well, what do you think of this? I'm like, "Ooh, look at that." You know what? I wasn't thinking about it, but yeah, wrap it up. Let's go. You know, and it's fun. Whatever it is, doesn't even have to be AKs. God, the most fun thing I bought in a long time is my Beretta 1301 shotgun. God, I love that gun. I'm gonna rip up. I got 7 different kinds of slugs tomorrow. I'm gonna run through that thing. All kinds of cool stuff. Even some old stuff, some old Brennicke's I found. A bunch of stuff. So really cool. Hey, next weekend is that 2A EDU shoot, and I think I'm scheduled to go. I haven't heard anything, and maybe I missed it in my email. Maybe they canceled. I don't know. I wasn't able to get on it last week because I was working. But we should be going to that this weekend. So hopefully we'll have a lot of fun there and bring some video to you guys and all kinds of stuff. I don't know if anyone in here is invited or going, but it should be a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. Uh, well, thank you, Jay Patriot. I'm glad somebody appreciates it. 12 barills will be coming in December. Really? Where are they coming to? 12, 12, 12, 12. That's what they said for October. Yeah, right? I'll take a barrel for sure. For sure. Rifles or pistols? What are they talking about? Before October, I had one in cart, but it didn't go through. Where? Where'd you have it in the cart? Had to pounce like a cat. I've been looking at the Beretta 1301. Just do yourself a favor and buy it. It's awesome. But wait for an OD green one unless you get the tactical or the pistol grip one. I made a mistake in my video too, calling it an LE. It's not the LE. I guess kind of essentially it is, but I think there's a couple minor differences. Is that where they canceled Tim Kennedy from going to? Man, all kinds of you guys got some inside scoop. Sup, Rock Guero's here. Cool. Hey, where's our buddy? Where's Orion at? And a few of the other guys, they're not in here tonight. Arms of America for Barills. Yeah, I know they're the importer. Aren't they exclusively working with whatchamacallit though? I thought they were. You could only buy them through shit. What's the shop? I mentioned it earlier. Arms of America is Kyle Innocent. Yes, he is. Benelli M4 or nothing for me. So they got a special edition M4 out, and it's a copy or a commemorative of the U.S. military one. It's exactly like it, except it doesn't have the adjustable stock like the LE does. It has the stock, but it doesn't adjust. And they've engraved the American flag in the side of it, which you may think is cool or not cool. Frankly, I think it's pretty cool. And you got to get the real extended tube for it. So I would rather just find me an LE version, right? In a way, although I really like that flag in the side of it. I like the fact that it's commemorative and I can find the extension tube no problem, but that adjustable stock is the issue. So I don't know. Yeah, Atlantic is where you got to get it from. I'm pretty sure, right? J Patriot, yeah, screw that. What, the American flag in the side of it? My Stoger M3K will give a Benelli M4 some comp. Yeah, I know. The LE is the way to go, right? I just got to find one on GB and find someone that's not out of their friggin' mind and grab one because it is the natural equivalent to having the next to that Beretta, right? Still got to have one. Get that, and then did I tell you guys the story about my M2A1 Mossberg? How I got dicked over on that. So I walk into my local Wisconsin farm and fleet, and lo and behold, hadn't seen a Mossberg in forever. This is going back about 3 months. And there's an M2A1 sitting there, gorgeous. Holy shit, I want it. I'll take it. Boom. Sign it up, do the paperwork, yada, yada, yada. I get delayed as usual. No problem. It'll go through in an hour, a day, or 2 days. No problem. See you in a day. I'll wait for your phone call. Day goes by, nothing. 2 days go by, 3 days. It's, I don't know, Sunday or something. I can't get up there to check. Later in the week, like 4 or 5 days go by. I stop in. Am I good to go, man? No, we haven't heard. And they're one of these places has a policy where they won't deliver the gun until they have the approval. A week goes by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Nothing's going through. Nothing's happening. This has never happened to me before. 30 days goes by. Hey, man, what's up? Can you call them, do something? They won't do anything. 30 days, you got to fill out a new form. What do you mean I got to fill out a new form? Well, yeah, it's 30 days. You got to fill out a new form. What do you mean? You didn't get an answer? I'm not approved. I'm not disapproved. I'm not nothing. You won't deliver the gun? No, we won't. So you want me to fill out another one and go through the same thing? Yeah. No, stick your gun in your ass. Goodbye. And I will never buy a rifle there or anything there ever again, just because of that and that policy. I will never do it. I don't know if some of you guys ever get delayed. I do because there's some jackass out there that's got a similar name or something that did something wrong, and I pay the price for it every time. And when a company makes the decision to delay my rights and set a policy that they have a choice in, they absolutely have a choice in, they are not breaking the law, they are following the law. Matter of fact, the government, the feds, the ATF, whoever, nobody can come back on them for it. If something was to turn out bad, let's say, they can't be held liable for any of it. But yet they refuse to follow the law, or they have the choice, I guess, to do it. But they want to take that stance on it, which in my opinion is standing against someone's rights. And you want to claim you're an American company. Yeah, we stand for America, this and that. No, you don't. And you will never get any more of my business on firearms. And trust me, my business is substantial. I promise you that. And yeah, I know I don't make up a pimple on a gnat's ass when it comes to big companies like that, no matter how much business I do with them. But to a smaller shop or even a bigger shop or something, I'm a pretty damn good customer. You probably would want me as a customer, and I'm nice. I don't bother you. I'm not a pain. And it's a shame because I like the guys there and everything. This is at this farm and fleet, What a pain in the ass. And I really wanted that thing too. It's such a cool thing. And I haven't been able to find one since. But yeah, be careful, guys. When you if you're with someone that gets delayed once in a while, before you go through with it, ask them their policy on it because um, yeah, that's just a shitty policy. Shitty policy. And this is the first time I think it's something on their end because I get delayed a lot and I've had it drag out past the 3 days, whatever, but it's always come through, always. And it's always come back just fine. So I don't know what the hell happened there, but that sucks. So anyhow, let's see in the chat here one more time, and then I'm gonna jump off because it's been wow 2 hours, guys. I'm surprised I have my voice. Don't I bore you guys by now? Um, let's see. GOP 2%. What's all that? So Virginia Republicans won Virginia, did they? Just bought me a Mossberg Maverick. Made me an 8+1 Shockwave. Cool. They had a Shockwave. See, I was there today. I'm looking for ammo at this same place, and they had a Shockwave there. And I looked and I went, "Oh yeah!" And it was only $400. And I'm like, "Ooh, I'll get." Oh shit! I can't buy a gun from them. I'm not going back on my word. I'm not going back on it. So I walked out. They could have sold a gun today. Um, but oh well. M90A1 with Baolug. What about it? Nice gun. Oh yeah, M91 with Baolug. Yeah, that was the one. That was the one. And I really wanted it. It was so cool. I even ordered the bayonet to fit it and everything. I was all set to play. Yep. A little overpriced, but they are hard to find. And the Shockwave I wanted was 500. Came out to 260. Oh, for the Maverick. Yeah, but the Shockwave is not a Maverick, correct? It's the step up. And you can buy that for $499 or whatever, 450, 400. At least that's what I saw today. End is near, fellas. Bible in one hand, AK in the other. Guerrero's looking to have some fun. Guerrero, look at the Reddit gun deals or Gunburger. Might take out some AKs to the 300-meter range tomorrow. I'm taking mine out to 200 tomorrow. I loaded up some special ELD bullets for mine in brass, and we're going to have some fun. I'm going to see if 308 will shoot just fine through the bore of an AK meant for a 3.11. So we'll see what happens. I'm going shooting this weekend. I'm going to break out the whole arsenal since I only go around twice a year. Yeah, and I will be in Michigan this weekend, hopefully, and having some fun. So I hope you guys gleaned a little bit about the good, the bad, and the ugly on what's out there. What's out there to buy in the AK family. There's some good stuff out there, guys. Take advantage of it. It's not going to be there forever. I promise you. We thought Vepers would be around forever. Back in the day, they thought Chinese, what they call junk then, would be around forever. How many of you guys got a Chinese rifle? How many can afford a Chinese rifle nowadays? Although they haven't seemed to have went up as much as the current stuff has. There's some other deals out there. Think about it, guys. There's stuff on the secondary market right now that seemed like maybe unobtainium to some price wise not long ago, and now it's right in the mix. So if you're going to spend that, maybe you go get some of that. That's still import, right? So is that a better deal? I don't know. You tell me. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you found it interesting, and I hope you had some fun. I hope I broke up your week. I have a day off tomorrow, and I'm going shooting. So, Yeah, cool. Maybe I'll bring you a little quickie live stream from the range. Just no shooting, but just a little update as to what we're doing, kind of thing. So be watching for that. I'll give you a little heads up on it, and then I'll jump in and tell you how things are going. Okay. So watch for that and jump in. Coffee and AKs is life. And yes, it is. I'm going to go pour a nice, another hot cup of hazelnut and start perusing my emails and gun broker and see if I can't get into some trouble. So, anyways, guys, have a great night. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the super chat. I certainly appreciate it. Have a great night. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out. Later, guys.